went through. And in a place where Mount Morot Hotel is standing today, according to oral traditions, that's where in 1911, this Chief Lokong was arrested by the local community themselves. And he was taken to a public court in Katanga, Lopeduru, the tamarind tree in Katanga. That's where now the elders pronounced judgment and sentenced the chief to death. So Lokong was taken to a place called Akwapua, and he was killed there. Now his mother, was so aggrieved, took the pen of Lokong and buried it and said, if this is the instrument why my son has been killed, and because of being part of government, then let this land of Karamoja not taste the fruits of a pen. Let nobody rise up to the position her son had risen to. So that burying of the pen, today remember, university project is bringing the pen. The pen was rejected. The pen was buried, and curses were pronounced on the land. Curses were pronounced on the education. So education was viewed as one which was coming to take away their children and alienate them from the culture, change their way of life. So they acted in order to protect, to preserve their culture, their economy, their self-determination. But again in Kotido, Chie, in 1942, there was a chief called Nameu, Erudit Nameu. That chief in 1942 again accepted for the colonial government to vaccinate people's cows against rinderpest. The elders did not consent to their cows being vaccinated. And again the chief also used the pen to register by force children who were to go and fight for the British government in the Second World War. The other one was First World War. In Nigeria here, it was about Second World War. Children would be taken and shipped to Mombasa, and others went to Burma, others did not come back. This Chief Nameu also accepted introduction of the hut tax. Every household with a hut was to pay taxes. Chief Nameu used his pen to register the number of cows each family had for the colonial government to be able to determine what amount of tax people should pay. Now, the way it was forcefully done, they would come to your kraal and select the best bulls and drive it and tell you to come and get the money. The government is the one which selects the best, the one which determines the price, is the one also which can arrest you and imprison you if you did not consent. So these cows were taken to Namalu, where there was a meat packers. And if you read the colonial records, you will find that in Namalu, a place called Kagata, there was a meat canning factory which was taking all these livestock confiscated from people, turning it into beef, to meat, to feed the British garrisons in Port Aden, Port Sudan, and so forth. So the colonial agents were used to use the pen to oppress the people. So what did the people of GSA, the elders of Lausilang, among others, Muluko Karuakol, those are the ones who told the young men in Akriket, if you could steal the pen of Chief Nameu, then this problem will be over. We will catch it in that pen and bury it, then we'll have defeated colonialism. We'll have defeated colonial education. So what happened then was there were some daring young men who went to steal the pen from Chief Nameu. And when they got it, they ran with it to the Akriket here in Kotido municipality. And now, in 1942, the pen was buried in Lomukra. The elders of Losilan are the ones who presided over that ceremony of burying the pen and therefore burying education. The children, the Christian denominations, both Catholic and Protestant, introduced formal education in 1928, 1929, up to now. Imagine from 28 or 29, 1928, to 2025 is when a university is finally being located in the very soil where the pen was rejected. It cannot be a coincidence. This is the land which rejected education. This is a land which cast education. And today we are here assembled to celebrate this pen. So people of Kapatu Project, National Council for Education, Ministry of Education, the government of Uganda, the entire Catholic Church and the clergy of the Anglican joined together with the community here. You can see how popular this idea is. But what was the turning point? The turning point was in 1995. Chief guest, I was appointed to be a Minister of State for Karamoja, coming from education in 1994 November. I was brought to become the Minister of State for Karamoja. As I was moving around to familiarize what the issues are, I came across a discussion of elders in Kotido, because Kotido district had just been carved out of Moroto district. When Kotido district was created, all the jobs went to people of Abim and Kabong, because the GA were not as well qualified to hold those positions in the local government. So there was concern among the elders and people of GA. What do we do? Then one of the elders said, it is because our children are not progressing in the university because we buried the pen. So they resolved to come together in a some traditional ceremony of prayer to unearth the pen. So they looked for those relatives whose grandfathers participated in burying the pen, also to participate in unearthing the pen. That's the dawn of a new transformation embracing education. And now, from 1995, imagine 1995, 4th and 5th November, today, 30 years after, another November, we are here assembled. For them, they unearthed the pen and blessed the children. The ceremony was called unearthing the pen and opening the children. Ebe akutuna kalam, ongaring idwe. So to open the future of the children. Now, the very elders of Losilang who presided on that ceremony of now embracing education and unearthing the pen and praying to God to remove the curse on education. So, people of Uganda, do not be surprised why Karamoja is lagged behind, why Karamoja resisted education. It has been a long journey to reach this point, 80 years. Imagine the colonial government did not allow Karamojong to go beyond primary 6. There is only one person, Joshua Akol, the father to Doris Akol, you all know of URA, who was in the URA, now with the IMF. That is the only Karamojong who was stolen by, smuggled by British Missionary Society Reverend called Reverend Bwana Clark. He was very bright. All the rest, whether you talk about Tubo, Chaudhry, Naburi, all those Athiyo, all those who started were never allowed to go to junior secondary school, to go to P7, P8. So they were recruited to be clerical officers, to be foremen, to be what? So the person of Joshua Cole was the one who was smuggled by a British reverend and taken to Ngora, and there are people of Ngora here. Taken to Ngora, and that is the first Karamojong who sat for Cambridge. And God helped him, he passed. He went to University of London. He completed the university in 1963. Imagine a university education that had been denied to the people of Karamoja. Finally, by God's providence, one of them got through. And is the one who has written books in vernacular, which we are using when we are studying in lower primary. So that Joshua Cole was made to work with East African Railways and Abbas based in Nairobi. When the East African Community collapsed, he was brought to be the managing director, chairman, managing director, Uganda Railways. In 1980, he joined politics. He became a deputy minister for transport and communication. These are the early leaders who inspired the rest of us. In the 70s, so imagine to the Christian denominations and the clergy, education was shunned by the people. If you lose the cows when you're a shepherd, the only place to run was school. But the parents would come to school to pull you out of the classroom. But how the church has persisted in this journey. The church did not give up. The church has stood with the people of Karamoja back at tomorrow. And now we are not surprised that even the university on the soil, on the very soil, the university was rejected, the pen was rejected. Now the church working with the government. This is what we are celebrating. We are celebrating the partnership between the church, the community, and the government of the Republic of Uganda. So we'd like to thank His Excellency the President. We'd like to thank the Bishop of Moroto, the Bishop of Kotido, because the two dioceses are now working together. The two Catholic dioceses are the ones who have entered into a discussion with the government to locate this university here. My brothers, November 4th and 5th, the pen was unearthed, not far away from here, Lomukra. And there is a monument when you're coming to Losilang. The very children of whose parents unearthed the pen are here, their grandchildren. Now, so that their children will not go through what their parents or grandparents. Commemoration as well as a commencement, a beginning of a new dawn. It celebrates the courage of those who buried the pen. We must also the courage of those who buried the pen. It honors the wisdom of those who unearthed it and entrusts the future to those who will wield it. It enshrines the belief that leadership is not merely about governance, but about guiding people from darkness into light, just like the church does, from conflict into confidence, and from survival to success. Chief guest, the stewardship of this university, the president agreeing to be the top promoter of this university. The deputy president, the vice president, has agreed to be the deputy chief promoter of this university project. And that's why when everything has been done and all the paperwork has been finalized, the installation of the founding chancellor as President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the vice president as the deputy founding chancellor will surely take place. Today is just an engagement with the community. Together in unison, we pray to God, and also we thank the university, and let the university project be unveiled. It should not be in offices only. The public needs to see what is coming on this sacred soil of Losilang. Chief guest, the sun is going to set today. The sun at sunset. But it will set heralding a new Karamoja. A new Karamoja that is embracing education. A Karamoja that now is rising, is unstoppable. We thank the president for appointing one of our daughters as a principal judge. This is the first time a daughter or a son or a daughter, a child of Karamoja is now number 3 in the Ministry of Justice, in the judiciary, the third branch of government. That is Justice Abodo. You see now the pen. In 2023, we took stock how many had gotten degrees. We found we had 45 medical doctors. Imagine 1923. Since Adam left Eden, actually since he left Karamoja, because he walked naked like Karamoja, I think Eden was here, I think. So since the world was made, how can you have only 45 medical doctors? Only 24 people with low degrees. Imagine now, one of those 24, of course they have increased now. In the last years. One of those is named principal judge. Imagine, people think Karamoja are bright. My friend, those of us who came to school are the worst, who could not keep cows. The cows would get lost, and you run there. Supposing the best of Karamoja came to school, those who are retained in the crowd, in the villages, what would have happened? Because you're just seeing us, a few who escaped. But supposing the very best who are returned. So the land remembers. This is the message I get. The land never forgets. The same soil that once received the pen in rejection now yields it back in redemption. The circle is unbroken. The pen, once a colonial instrument of coercion and subjugation, has become a national instrument for socio-economic empowerment. From the ashes of mistrust, a new covenant has risen, one built not on conquest, but on cooperation, not on fear, but on faith. The university project that stands as the ultimate reconciliation of Uganda's past and the future, a living monument. This university will be a living monument to cultural dignity, political foresight, and spiritual and economic renewal. So generations transform. Through Kapatu, the children of Karamoja are no longer defined by the image of spear and stereotype or backwardness. They will now carry tablets instead of rifles. They will now, instead of fear, dreams instead of despair. They are the custodians of the pen, the inheritors of both tradition and transformation. Already a generation of educated sons and daughters of Karamoja represented here by the rising group of Karamoja professionals. Dr. Robert Limlim is the chairperson, is the patron of the Karamoja Professionals Association.
I think he should come now and speak.
Now, let me give the last message. Kapatu project is now in the 10-year Karamoja development plan. Is there, which has been approved by Parliament. There, it is a flagship project which is supposed to happen in the first 18 months when the NDP4 is implemented. Now, it's also in NDP4. Now, if you think Kapatu University Project is a Ministry of Education institution, no, it is more than that. It is connecting, it's a frontier in a desert. It's a frontier in a community where nomads are still holding guns. In South Sudan, in South Ethiopia, in northwestern Kenya. And so it is a transformative institution. It is also an instrument for peace building. It's also an instrument for regional diplomacy. That's why you see ambassadors here, you see representatives from all those countries here. So, Chief Guest, like I said, the sun is setting in Losilang. It will do so upon a different Karamoja, a Karamoja that has chosen the pen over the gun, the classroom over the kraal, and the future over fear. The establishment of this university project is the triumph of knowledge over ignorance, of vision over vengeance, of faith over fatalism. It teaches the enduring truth of the nation and measured in the power of its weapons, not by the wisdom of its people. And what does it mean? The pen has truly come back home. This is my parting shots. Today, the story that began in pain ends in purpose. The Karamojong, once written off as illiterate and resistant, now write their own history as you are listening. Their own words, in their own pens, and their own land, under your leadership of NRM government. The pen has come home not to rest, but to rise. It has come home not to mark the ending, but the beginning of a new chapter. It has come home as a symbol of peace, unity, and enduring progress under the leadership of His Excellency the President. And from this sacred ground of Losilang, where the past and the future now meet, the children of Karamoja will write not just their story, but the Uganda's next great chapter in education, peace, and nationhood. So this is really the story of Kapatu. I don't know how many universities have a story like this.
Thank you very much,
God bless
ZDP.
you.
Thank you so much. That was a deep story that needed to be told. I'd like to invite the representative of the Ministry of Finance for the Secretary to come and say hello to the guests here very briefly. Recognize the partnership of the national company that is here with us. We have a lot of partners, but can I get help with this microphone? It's beginning to misbehave. Mr. Ambrose,
the chief guest, all protocol observed. I'm called Ambrose Lotiang. I'm Assistant Commissioner, Budget, Policy and Evaluation in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. I stand here to represent the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to Treasury, who would have loved to be here, but is committed outside the country on official duties. We are happy to be part of this project, and we commit support to Kapatu. Recently, His Excellency the President directed that 30 billion be given to Kapatu, and already we have released 10 billion to support this project. And we will work with the Ministry of Education on how to go ahead. During the homily, we were told that we belong to one tribe, and that tribe is called humanity. Government supports human capital development, under which education falls. And I think it is deservedly that we are here today to celebrate this project. We'll stay and commit to work together with Kapatu to achieve its objectives. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Mata dada, tuyakal dada, araka kro Lotiang Ambrose. Etia na pi ngina angedelinga kangena manmanere ngajok siang una topolote Uganda, ebe Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Amadek ekakapolon ngolo pologin tapiri ngina ngolo chikagin Museveni apiri ngina yane na kwarna na it bunye eke chikagayo tamak kape tuweki na anazubananu angone yakare wonege tema kemalakanan Karamoja, kemalakanan Gie, kemalakanan Tobur, kemalakanan Poren, kemalakanan Korio dadang abe emalek ngebe yaine nait atingiara abu ekapolon yok papa Museveni president yok tema kalemtu ngedelinga ngabungenge ngatomoniuni ebe ngabilionio ngatomoniuni inake Kapatu alemu obene kapolon ka ngabilionio ngatomon eperetepe alobu ka Kapatu. So enakna ako peace agitia Kapatu, that is when